Hello and welcome to La Mesa, San Antonio series featuring San Antonians in a roundtable setting to discuss the topic at hand. I'm Tonya Hope, Public Relations Manager for the San Antonio International Airport, also known as SAT. I'm joined by my colleagues, Jesus Saenz, Director of Airports, Tim O'Cromley, Deputy Director of Development, Karen Ellis, Chief Customer Experience Officer, and Jacob Tyler, Acting Chief Air Services Development Officer. So let's begin. Tell me how each of you were interested in aviation. What drew you into aviation?
So mine really started with a love for travel. My parents traveled a lot growing up, so we were always in airports, and contrary to other people, that was always one of my favorite parts about the trip, was starting and ending at the airport, so I knew I wanted to get involved in some way.
Nice. Tim?
All my life I had wanted to become a doctor until my junior year in high school. My sister started dating an airline pilot, and he took me up for a plane ride, and within a year I had my pilot's license, switched schools, switched majors, and ended up going to an all aeronautical university, and kind of that's where it started from there. It's continued ever since.
Impressive. Karen?
So for me, I never wanted to be in aviation. I'm not an airport person, but I love helping people. So I do what I love doing in an airport environment, and I've been doing this over 25 years now.
Jesus?
Yeah, very much similar to everyone. I think once we become acclimated or involved with the aviation industry, myself included, I come from a family that has done a lot of social work and helping people. So that's something that really attracts me to want to be involved in the aviation as we're helping people connect to their destinations. My injection into aviation specific in the industry comes from United Parcel Service. So I worked for United Parcel Service when I was going through college, and I was loading aircraft and tasted a little bit of Jet A while I was there on the ramp area, and said, I got to continue to do this, and the rest is history.
UPS, much respect. So, Jesus, recently the San Antonio Business Journal named the airport Business of the Year. Wall Street Journal also named the airport as number 2. Very, very impressive. What do you think that means for the airport?
Well, first, I think it's a reflection of the entire team. It's not one individual. So, as we come on the heels of finishing the Super Bowl weekend, which was super exciting, and you think about us as a team and what we deliver and what we execute each day, it's a full complement. We have some of our team members here, but when you look at the 400 plus individuals that make things happen every day as it relates from an operation and maintenance standpoint, with some days 40,000 people going through the airport, some days 20 to 25,000 people going through the airport. It doesn't matter. There's a number of team members that have to execute on so many different levels in order for us to be successful from an operations and maintenance standpoint that encompasses everything of us being safe and secure in how we operate and maintain our overall airport. Now, the back of the side, or the behind the curtains, there's so many supportive individuals that help with that. Tim is here from the development standpoint. We're launching an enormous development program. So much work was done in 2023 to prepare us to be able to be prepared to execute on a development program of that magnitude. Karen, who oversees the passenger experience, the number of touch points where people are impacted, not only on the front side of the terminal, but on the back side as well. And then even more so on the response that we give to our, tenants that are, working at the airport, 25,000 plus badge employees that are coming in and out of there. So that's a level of service. Jacob is here with regards to air service development. We had an incredible year in 2023 with the number of nonstop destinations that we were able to attract, including, and we're super excited about being able to, connect people across into Europe this year with Condor Airlines and connecting San Antonio International Airport to Frankfurt. So those amongst a number of different individuals that make it happen. It's a complement of team that is working towards a common purpose and goal for the benefit of the city of San Antonio, and I think all of those are the many reasons why we've been so successful.
Tim, let's talk about the future of the airport. We're getting a new terminal. What all does that entail?
Sure. The new terminal is a project in a larger program that we're doing. It's the largest capital program the city of San Antonio has ever undertaken. Some of the projects within that program are the new terminal building. And to give you a scale of size, it's approximately going to be 850,000 square feet. That's larger than the two current terminals combined. Could be up to 17 gates. It'll be new concessions and a whole new customer experience. And that's one of the goals. There's several goals set by the city, and its accessibility and its sustainability, and that all wraps into the customer experience. The program itself will also add some other benefits to the city. One, it's an economic generator. The airport's a huge economic generator, and this will add to that, not only in direct jobs, but what it does for the region, the community. And it's also going to allow us to correct some current challenges we have. For example, we have roadway projects within the program that will help enhance the in and out of the airport when you're on the roadway. We're going to have some additional facilities for ground transportation center. So now when you pick up a commercial vehicle like an Uber, Lyft, or taxi, that will be more efficient. So the whole goal is to really, through a good master planning effort we did over the last couple of years, is identify what do we need today and what will take us into the future, not only for the capital program, but for the economic development, opportunities for workforce, and just really the overall customer experience that San Antonio and its citizens and the travelers deserve.
Can you talk a little bit about what is the ground load facility? I know that many in the community have been worried that when they come to the airport, they won't be in the airport when it's time to get on a plane. What is the ground load facility?
So we try to serve all passengers and airlines at the airport, and the ground load facility is just a different type of terminal. A lot of airports use it and very proud of them. They're, Burbank, Denver, but essentially it's a terminal without a ground loading bridge. You go through the building like a normal airport terminal building. There's gate holds, but instead of exiting to get on the airplane through a jet bridge, you just walk and there's a set of stairs. And there are certain airlines that have asked and requested that. And so this is our ability to meet all needs of all of our airlines so we can continue to expand air service and really meet those demands. And really the emphasis behind the ground load facility is how quickly they can load and unload a plane. And this particular terminal will have 3 gate holds. It can have 5 spaces for the aircraft. It will connect to our customs facility, so it can be used for international or domestic flights. And really, it's just another asset in our arsenal of offerings that we have for the airlines and the passengers and the airlines that want to use that. Not all airlines will use that model, but the ones that do have requested, and we're responding to that.
Jacob, working with Air Services, why do you think that the ground load facility is so vital?
Sure. So like Jesus mentioned, we've been really successful lately adding new, not only nonstop destinations, but new airlines also. And like Tim mentioned, a lot of these airlines that are now utilizing San Antonio, this is a model that they enjoy, and we're really excited to be able to give them that option and further expand the offerings they have from San Antonio. It'll also help us continue to grow at the rate we've been growing before the new terminal opens up also.
Jesus, in 2023, we scored our first ever nonstop flight to Germany. Talk about why that's such a big deal.
Well, as we discussed the impacts of the entire year of what we were able to accomplish in 2023 and what that meant to this entire city and this region. The ability to connect, transatlantic is a big impact to the city. And what I mean from that is obviously from a service standpoint, to be able to depart from SAT and land in Europe, 9.5, 10 hours later, and then on the return flight come in and land in San Antonio is a big benefit for the 2+ million people that live just in San Antonio, and I would even take it as far as the 5+ million people that live in this region, to be able to connect as they want to go, not only just to London, but connect globally. And that really begins to put San Antonio as a true competitor on the global map to be able to deliver the service, one, of being able to have that transatlantic service. Separate from that, it's a big economic impact to the city. As we look at the impact of domestic passengers and what we do today, we do a number of trans-border service between San Antonio and Mexico, which is a very good complement of what we do in our air service portfolio. But now on the financial aspect of being able, while we get incredibly excited about being able to connect from San Antonio to Europe, think of the people that have never visited San Antonio that now will be able to come globally from across what we say in the aviation industry, across the pond, to come in to San Antonio and visit this region. Anywhere here in the South Central Texas region will be available to them. You arrive at SAT, you go through the process of arrival, and in 15-20 minutes you're downtown. In an hour you're in the hill country, and you get to experience everything that we get to experience and sometimes take for granted every day.
Talk about our customer experience, Karen. You know, a lot of times we talk about how friendly and welcoming San Antonio is, but that kind of starts at the airport, right?
It does. Thank you so much. Yes, for us, the ambassadors are the first people that you see when you arrive at our airport. And you're used to seeing them with their cowboy hats on and their vest, and they're out there ready to assist. But there are other amenities that we have at the airport, which we are super proud of. One is our flyaway valet parking for those individuals that want to park, that want to use that service. They can drop their vehicles off and right at the door, and they can just walk in. Then we have our lactation stations throughout the building for mothers that are nursing. There's an opportunity for them to use a private space for that. We are one of a few airports in the country that have an adult changing table. So that changing table can be used for those individuals that are not babies but also require some ability to be able to use a private area for changing. We have our pet relief areas for those that have the four-legged furry friends that they need to have to relieve themselves. So, and the other thing that I want to mention is the art within the airport, art and music within the airport. We bring on a lot of local artists that can play in our airport because we want our airport to be a calming place for those that are traveling through. And the art is just another added bonus for them to see while they're there.
What about music? Are you finding that passengers like the music in the airport?
Absolutely. Music is always soothing for everyone. So we have it pretty much in the food court areas for both Terminal A and Terminal B. And we're hoping to have a huge stage in the new terminal so we can bring on some additional talent from here in the city.
A lot of times we hear the word sense of place. What do you think is in the airport that makes us have a sense of place?
For us, I think one of the things that when I first started at the airport, I was hired, and it was a really sterile place with a lot of white walls. And I was told that we need to make this place look like San Antonio as people are arriving so that they'll get that experience when they first get here. So as a result of that, we have concessionaires that are local, so you can have the experience inside the airport before going into the city. We also have, again, local artists that perform. So these are, some of them are well-known artists that have performed in other places, but now they're performing within the city. And then the art, as I mentioned before, is another way of attracting people from our local communities that are participating. But I guess the biggest draw for us, again, is the local food and beverage and shopping, like the Spurs store. You know, of course, we are Spurs. San Antonio Spurs is one of my favorite teams, or my favorite team. And so we have a store that's there where you can get any kind of items that you would normally not think that you would get in an airport, but it's there. So having that sense of place of what that means to be in the city starts at the airport.
When we talk about goals, what are you most focused on?
As the airport director, for me, every day I think about the team. It's people. And I want to make certain that we're doing all possible to take care of every single employee, every single passenger. And that really stems from not having been born in San Antonio, but born in Texas and lived here all my life. And probably coming from the roots of my grandparents to the roots of my parents and the way that you treat people. And, you know, we just have had a number of conferences here. people come and they experience our city, and they get to see what people are like. And no disrespect to any other cities or what happens elsewhere. That's not what this is about. You just feel differently when you're here, and the people, the way that they are treated. And I think, I'm often, talking about ensuring that our team members are respected, appreciated, and valued, and showing them that we care, because they're a part of our team, and they're the reason that we are successful. So as an airport director, obviously I could talk about the financials, I could talk about the development, I could talk about the level of service, I could talk about, the safety, the security, the operations and maintenance, and everything we do as an airport. You do none of that without the people. And for me, every day that I come in and every day that I leave, I focus on making certain that people know where my spine sits and what means most to me. And at the end of the day, it's about taking care of people.
I just had a feel-good moment. So when we talk about the past and moving into the future, you got here, you arrived in San Antonio in 2020, the height of COVID. What have you seen that's changed?
Well, the industry has changed, and it's no longer the same. While I came in with a 30, 60, 90-day plan, 45 days later, we were hit as an industry with a pandemic that we've never experienced before. I can take back to what I've experienced 25 years, in the previous place that I did business with, and what we dealt with there, whether it was, the big recession of 2008, and you go a little bit further back and you look at the impact of 9/11, COVID's probably that much difficult or more difficult in what we had to do. It was no longer a security issue, it's a safety issue of making certain that every employee, every passenger was safe in how they were traveling. So, for me, I arrived with full expectations of initiating a number of different initiatives and activities, and quickly, shifted to the importance of making certain that everyone was safe. We did that for a full year and a half, and we utilized that time to prepare ourselves strategically with a strategic plan that is a reflection of this entire team and the team that's not here today, of an all-encompassing, initiative for us to focus on what we were going to do between 2023 and 2028. We're certainly off to a really good start with a number of awards that we received in 2023. But at the end of the day, it's about preparing this airport, this asset. It's an engine to the city of San Antonio. We have a lot of work to do. I don't want anybody to misinterpret, whether it's on the air service piece, whether it's on the development piece, whether it's on the passenger experience. We have a lot of work to continue to do, but we certainly are making some good leaps and bounds based on our strategic plan in order for us to be, one of the best doggone medium hub airports in the nation.
We have just over 400 employees trying to make it happen day in and day out, so it's definitely a team feel. We've talked about the Condor flight. We have 45 nonstop flights right now, Jacob. What is it going to take? When do you think we're going to make the big 50, the big 50?
So we're constantly working on it. It's something that, never stops. It takes a lot to get a new route. Some people think it happens overnight. It takes years sometimes for something like that to happen, especially a Condor route. So we're working on it, and it ultimately comes down to being a data-driven decision by the airlines. There's a lot of data that we have access to, but it also really comes down to the great partnerships we have with local organizations like Visit San Antonio, Greater SATX, the different chambers, our consulates, and much more that helps provide supplemental data that really gives us that solid business case. But really, another important part is, the people choosing to fly SAT that really gives the airlines the hard data that they need to see to continue the growth that we have. So we're excited to keep on fighting for more, and there's more on the horizon for sure. We definitely want to make sure that our new routes that we have launching this year to Frankfurt, to Torreon, to Burbank, to Philadelphia, that those all start off very successful also, and continue to move with that momentum.
I'm glad you said that because, a lot of times we hear in the community, we don't have a flight to this destination, we don't have a flight to that destination, and you can't just snap your fingers like you said. It's a lot of work, and sometimes it takes years to bring those flights in. So much kudos to your team.
I do want to say we do hear people when they're saying that, and we definitely listen to that, and that's part of the reason why we work as hard as we do. So it doesn't fall on deaf ears. We're definitely on it.
Nonstop to Hawaii. And last question for everybody. If you had to answer just in one sentence, what sets our airport, SAT, apart from other airports, what would it be? I'll start with you, Karen.
One sentence, that's going to be tough, but Jacob and Jesus alluded to it. For us, my sentence would be, voice of the customer is what sets SAT apart because we listen, period.
Tim?
Mine will be a run-on sentence, but it's location convenience backed by an incredibly dedicated team of professionals.
Jacob?
I think mine's going to be longer than one sentence, too.
Okay, you got 2 sentences.
I would definitely say our route network into Mexico, it's something that a lot of other airports don't have, and I'm really proud of that. And also the expediency of all of our lines and things like that. I mean, you come back to San Antonio, as I've done many times for Mexico, and you're out of customs very quickly, and that's going to be even more important with after a long European flight. So.
Oh yeah, I always say it's the ease and navigation that we have at the airport. Jesus?
Well, I'll try and stay in one sentence, but our people are defined by the core values of the city of San Antonio, of which we have 4, and I think that establishes the character of our people and our commitment to the task at hand that we have.
Nice. Well, I want to thank each of you for being here. It's been a pleasure to be here with my colleagues. Until next time on La Mesa.